Hey, what's up everyone? And well, now that we've looked at the best movies and video games of 2025, let's jump ahead into 2026 and what I'm anticipating for both movies and video games. But we got to start with one, and obviously it's going to be movies. Yes, this time around it's just going to be a top 10 list, plus a few honorable mentions. And obviously the lowest ones on the list, which are most likely the honorable mentions, are going to be the ones that I still think are going to suck, but I'm anticipating and still interested to see how they're going to turn out. And obviously as you make it down to the bottom towards number one, it's obviously the ones that I'm really anticipating and I think are going to be great. So without further ado, here we go. Most anticipated movies, in my opinion, that I'm looking forward to for 2026. Starting with number 10.
Mandalorian and Grogu. Yeah, I'm assuming this takes place after the events of the Mandalorian series on Disney Plus, which was great. First two seasons. The third one, I can agree, like anybody else, definitely went in a weird direction, but I'm interested to see how well this can play out on the big screen. I know Disney's had it a little rough and they've been pretty hit and miss with a lot of properties that they've owned, primarily Star Wars, but I think they could finally get their act together and make a great Star Wars movie spin-off, if you can call it this. I'm interested to see how this one will work out. Hopefully the force is still strong with Disney on this one. Number 9, Michael. Yeah, this was originally supposed to come out in 2025, but got pushed to 2026, and all I can say is the trailer looks great. And I know all the backstory behind Michael Jackson, but come on, he was the king of pop. He was huge in the 80s, and in some parts of the 90s as well, you know, with the moonwalking, Thriller, Beat It, and honestly, his nephew, who's actually playing him, coincidentally, man, what a likeness of him on the big screen, and I hope it plays out well, and we can only hope
That he knows how to beat it.
I mean that in a good way, in case you're wondering. Number 8, Mario Galaxy, the movie. Yeah, the sequel to Super Mario Bros. The movie, which I thought was very enjoyable. I mean, okay, you can go on about which one is better, whether this one or the live-action one. Obviously, the 2023 movie is more fan service-ish, you know, trying to make up for the other one that was definitely derivative from what Mario Brothers was, but whatever. If it has its fan base, that's fine. But this one obviously is more colorful, more vibrant with its animation, and much more faithful to the games. I know Chris Pratt wasn't exactly the best casting choice to voice Mario, but we can all agree King Koopa, voiced by Jack Black, spot on right there. And this time around, instead of going to Super Mario Bros. 2 or Mario World, they decided to blast off into the stars and, well, it wouldn't be Mario Galaxy without Rosalina. She's supposedly going to be voiced by Captain Marvel star Brie Larson. And the villain is going to be Bowser Jr., coming back, I'm assuming, to avenge his father, who's been shrunken and imprisoned. Spoiler alert for any of you who haven't seen the end of the first one, but I think most of us have. And yeah, it looks great. I'm hoping it's out of this world. Number 7, Ready or Not 2. Yep, I enjoyed the hell out of the first one. It was both gruesome, kind of scary, but most importantly, great mix of comedy thrown in there as well. A bit of dark comedy and a pretty screwed up family hunting down a newlywed that just joined their family and turns out is part of a sacrificial ritual. I mean, you want to talk about screwed up there, but it follows the events of that film. For any of you who haven't seen it, I know it's a bit of a spoiler there, but our main lead actress comes back and turns out she has a sister played by Catherine Newton, and another game starts. And it looks to ditch the horror element and go for more of the dark comedy element out in the open. Bit of a hunting game to be exact, and I'm hoping it's just as good, if not even better than the first. So, all I could say is, let the games begin. Number 6, Scream 7. Yep, Ghostface is back, or maybe more than one Ghostface, in another sequel to this series that just keeps going and going, and well, not in New York City again. And for any of you who got attached to the casting of the last two movies, Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega, they are not going to be returning for this movie. I don't think I have to get into detail why, but
This time around it's focusing on Neve Campbell's character, Sidney Prescott, pretty much the main character from the first few Scream movies, as well as Courtney Cox, making a return as Gale Weathers. And though we are getting 2 returning cast members reprising their roles from the last 2 movies, Jasmine Sabo Brown and Mason Gooding playing their respectable roles. And it's taking place in a new location in the state of Indiana, where our main lead character, Sydney, is trying to basically rebuild her life while dealing with Ghostface killings once again. So we can only hope for lots of horror, suspense, lots of bloodshed, and of course, it wouldn't be Scream without Ghostface. Or I should say, Ghostface plural, because that's usually the case in these movies. And most importantly, the phone calls asking what their favorite scary movie is. Let's hope they can keep this series alive for a 7th time around.
Number 5, Mortal Kombat 2. Yeah, that's right. Originally was supposed to release in 2025, but got pushed to May of 2026. If you've seen the trailer, you already know how excited I am. The first one was a pretty decent reboot. For one thing, it had an R rating, which the 1995 movie, which was enjoyable enough. It was good, cheesy fun, but it was only PG-13. And this one is going to retain that, thankfully. Keep the blood and gore going. Bring in some new characters. Obviously, was hinted at the end of the first one, Johnny Cage, as well as Shao Kahn, Baraka, and a whole bunch more. Not expecting a flawless victory. Just don't make another Mortal Kombat Annihilation. That's all I can ask for. Number 4, The Odyssey. Yes, Christopher Nolan is back directing another historical epic movie. At least we can assume it's going to be, taking place during the Trojan War with a star-studded cast of actors like Matt Damon, Tom Holland, Anne Hathaway, Robert Pattinson, Zendaya, Charlize Theron, and a bunch more. The trailer looks amazing, and come on, it's Christopher Nolan. How can you go wrong? He's done so many great movies before, despite a few that may have not been his greatest, but come on, for the most part, he's fantastic, and we can only hope for the sake out of this one too as well. I'm sure it's going to be a big IMAX or Dolby release type of film if you go to see it at AMC or Regal, whatever. The bottom line, Christopher Nolan hasn't failed us yet, at least for the most part. Number 3, Project Hail Mary. Yes, a science fiction, sort of a post-apocalyptic movie about the end of the world is coming, supposedly the sun is dying, and this one actually looks interesting, almost like an interstellar concept, sort of, or another world and an alien try to work together with our main character, played by Ryan Gosling, who goes into space to try to work together with the alien, make friends with him and solve the problem and avert the apocalypse. And I'm actually pretty fascinated to see this kind of concept. It's supposedly based on a book, which is by the same author who did The Martian, and
You already know how much I praised the hell out of that movie. If not, check out my best movies list of 2015. I'm hoping this one does just the same and is out of this world. Or should I say, can pull a Hail Mary. Pun intended right there.
Number 2, Spider-Man, Brand New Day. Yes, the web slinger himself, played by Tom Holland once again from the MCU universe, is back. We got new threats in here, like most notably Scorpion. Definitely excited to see him for the first time, even though we were hinted at the end of Spider-Man Homecoming. And, well, I'm sure he's going to try to make sense of everything that happened with his ex-girlfriend and best friend Ned.
Even Mark Ruffalo is going to play a pretty big role in this movie as Bruce Banner, aka the Hulk. And even Stranger Things star Sadie Sink is going to be in this. As what character, they haven't revealed yet. They've been pretty hush-hush about this whole film and what her character is especially going to be. But I'm sure we'll find out eventually. But overall, I'm hoping, since the MCU has been getting better, that Spider-Man can still do what a Spider-Man can. The last 3 films were great, and let's hope for the sake that this one could be just as great, despite being the first one not to have home in the title and being the first 4th Spider-Man movie out of any franchise. Yeah, guess there's a first time for everything. But let's hope that this arachnic superhero can still pack a punch with some good action and keep the MCU going strong as ever. Alright, and before I get to number 1, several honorable mentions. And keep in mind, the first couple of them I don't have high hopes for. Yeah, like many people, I do think they're probably going to suck, but I'm still interested to see how they're going to turn out. Supergirl. Yeah, apparently, as you know, the DC Universe, or Justice League Universe, whatever you would call it, is getting rebooted. And after last year's Superman, which I thought was pretty good,
can't say it wasn't without its flaws. I mean, I'll be honest, I thought Man of Steel was better, and obviously they hinted this movie. I don't know. With Supergirl, she hasn't had the best history with movies. I mean, we got that horrible, laughable film from the 80s, which was obviously a low-budget film, but whatever. And then the TV show, which even that too was not exactly the greatest, so I can't say my hopes are sky high for this one. It looks pretty good. I mean, it has a similar vibes, but again, I can't say my expectations are sky high on this one. But who knows, maybe it might be super. Thread, an Insidious spin-off about a couple who, I guess, lost their daughter or something, and they travel back in time, and it's a horror film, obviously, if it exists in the same universe. It sounds like an interesting idea, but the Insidious series has gotten a bit stale. Not gonna lie. I mean, I'm sure most of us can agree with that, but maybe this is a fresher take. Who knows if this will actually be decent. Toy Story 5. Now, I love the Toy Story movies. It was a solid trilogy. The fourth film was great, but it was still a bit unnecessary. I mean, seriously, they ended it fine with the third movie, and I don't know how much more Disney and Pixar are going to milk out of this franchise with this one. I'm hoping it's the last, but then again, the third film was the perfect conclusion. It should have just ended there. Live-action Moana. Yes, the quickest live-action remake to a movie that's officially 10 years old this year. Not officially 10 years old until November, but yeah, they're already releasing it this summer. And while not much to say about this, but I will say I'm sort of anticipating it for one reason. They got Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson playing Maui in the flesh. So maybe this will be as good as the live-action How to Train Your Dragon, considering in that film, they got the same voice actor to play the same character in the flesh. You know, I'm talking about Hiccup's father, played by Gerard Butler, who voiced him. So maybe it'll be almost as good as that one, and let's hope it's not a repeat of one particular live-action Disney remake that came out last year. You probably know which one I'm talking about. I don't think I have to get into it. It pretty much brought Disney down by a mile, but let's hope for the sake this is not a repeat. Masters of the Universe. Yes, that's right, a live-action adaptation of the old He-Man series, bringing it to life with a pretty good star-studded cast, including Jared Leto. Maybe it'll be great. I mean, the pictures and photos and everything, they look promising, and they got a pretty promising director, Travis Knight, behind it. Even though this, of course, was a little before my time, but I do remember my brothers always watching this show and everything, the animated version, obviously, so maybe it'll be as great as, you know, the first Transformers movie, as well as Transformers Rise of the Beasts. Who knows? As long as Michael Bay's not involved, I think we might be in good hands. Street Fighter. Yeah, that's right. Hollywood is taking another shot at bringing more Hadoukens and Sonic Booms onto the big screen, and completely new star-studded cast, and so far we've gotten a leaked teaser trailer, which, I'm not gonna lie, looks pretty awesome. And yeah, I know, video game movies are hit and miss, so maybe this one will be a hit. I mean, they got Jason Momoa playing Blanca. That's not a bad casting choice there, so maybe this will pack a punch and a good fun time on the big screen. But then again, that's why I'm considering it lower on the list compared to Mortal Kombat. Evil Dead Burn. Yep, getting back into horror movies. I wasn't a huge fan of Evil Dead Rise. I mean, I could see why a lot of people liked it. I tried to get into it. I mean, I enjoyed the original one for its campy nature, and the remake was pretty good. I mean, it was faithful and more or less great in its own right, despite a lot of CGI and everything, but I don't know. I'm hoping this one will win me over a lot more than Rise did. Maybe not, but again, that's why I'm including it as only an honorable mention. Thanksgiving 2. Okay, it's not confirmed whether or not this is coming out this year, and I did enjoy the hell out of the first one. Just check out my full review on it that I did, not last Halloween, but the one before in 2024 to be exact. And while Eli Roth is supposedly returning as the director, as well as most of the main cast members, including Patrick Dempsey himself. Not to spoil anything, but most of you probably seen the gruesome and bloody but fun and campy Scream/Texas Chainsaw Massacre style Thanksgiving horror movie that is Thanksgiving. And, well, I'm interested to see how many leftovers there will be if this one comes out in 2026, or whether it's going to get postponed again or not. So,
Not sure if it's going to be, but again, that's why I'm considering it only an honorable mention spot. Violent Night 2. Yeah, that's right. The violent but funny as hell Christmas movie starring David Harbour as Santa Claus himself going John Wick on all the bad guys and saving the day. He's going to be back as well as Mrs. Claus for the first time making her debut, played by none other than Kristen Bell. This should be interesting, and I'm assuming it's going to be another save the day scenario. I have no idea. We don't see any trailers yet, but as long as it's just as much fun as the first movie, I'm all for it. Or I should say, ho ho ho. Hershey. It says it's coming out this year. Yep, a bio movie about the famous man who brought the beloved Hershey chocolate to life. And they got a pretty good cast of actors from what I've heard. I mean, you got Alan Ruck even in this movie, as well as Alexandra Daddario playing his wife. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see the whole story about how this delicious chocolate came to be. Madden. Yeah, that's right. Another biography movie about the face of the NFL himself, John Madden, being played by Nicolas Cage. Yeah, I know. Nicolas Cage could either be really great or just straight up laughably bad. So I'm hoping this will be a great performance, at least judging by what I've seen in the teaser trailer, and it actually looks like a pretty faithful rendition of him. I mean, it looks like him. It sounds like him. You got Christian Bale in there alongside him as Al Davis. So maybe this one will be a touchdown, especially being that it's directed by David O. Russell, who I know has kind of took a little bit of a dive after making some big hit movies like Silver Lining Playbook and The Fighter and American Hustle. So maybe this will be a bit of a comeback for him, hopefully. Jimmy. Yep, another biopic movie about none other than Jimmy Stewart, the face of most of the Hitchcock classics like Vertigo, Rear Window, North by Northwest, and of course, the old Christmas classic that I know it's not technically a Christmas movie until the last 40 minutes, It's a Wonderful Life. It's also coming out in November, the same month as the Madden movie is, and I gotta say, judging by what I've seen in the trailer, the actor looks and sounds just like him. I'm hoping this will be a very faithful adaptation of his character. I always love these movies about how they make movies and actors playing actors. I'm hoping this will be great. And the number one movie that I'm anticipating for 2026 is Avengers Doomsday. Yeah, this is the big one, I'm hoping. Because we've already gotten short teaser trailers for it with the Doomsday countdown clock until it's coming out. And it's coming out actually around December, the end of 2026 to be exact. And as we all know, it's going to bring the whole entire Marvel Cinematic Universe, including the X-Men, Fantastic Four that we got introduced to, the new one from the good film. And we've already gotten teased of it in the mid-credit scene, not to really spoil that movie, but we probably have seen the Comic-Con footage from not last year but the year before, where they revealed that Doctor Doom himself, the big badass villain, is going to be played by none other than Iron Man actor himself, Robert Downey Jr. All I could say is, bring it on. Bring the whole entire crew, the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, and the X-Men all together for the big fight against the big badass himself. Don't screw this up, Marvel, because you're actually starting to get back on track, especially after some rather let-down movies. I mean, you've finally gotten your act together with Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four. And let's hope for the sake that this one will be just as great, or if not, even better. So that's my list right there, people. Until next time, Happy New Year.